Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. I know it's nothing fancy, but I am going to talk to you guys really quick today about meal prep. So I know most of you in this group are doing 21 Day Fix. However, I do know that some of you might be doing Core de Force, just like I am. Obviously, it just came out yesterday, so that's super exciting. But I know that most of you are doing a program that comes with the portion control cups, which I will be showing you here in a couple minutes. So if you are doing a program that comes with those, like I said, I'm going to be talking about them here in a second. If not, and if your program doesn't come with those, make sure you go ahead and take a look at the nutrition program that actually comes with the program that you purchased. So I know, for example, like PiYo, PiYo has its brand or its own nutrition plan. So the portion cups were not invented yet when PiYo came out with its nutrition plan. So that's why they basically have a separate nutrition plan for PiYo, and I think there's a couple others that also have their own plan as well. So just make sure that you are looking at what type of nutrition plan your program comes with. And if you have any specific questions about it whatsoever, please do not hesitate to ask us and let us know. I know most of them basically go off the same concept as portion control containers, and they use, but instead of using these portion control cups, they end up using just basic measuring spoons, measuring cups, a food scale, things like that. So this does make it a little bit easier, but the programs that don't come with these, they're pretty much as simple to follow as well. So like I said, I'm going to be talking to you guys today about meal prep. For me, meal prep is so important, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, it is something that it can make or break you when you're trying to follow and stick to a program and see results from it. So as we all know, in order to see results, we have to do the workouts in conjunction with the nutrition. Both of those, you can say it's an 80-20, you can say 80% of it comes from nutrition, 20% comes from working out. But what I say, to get 100% value out of both of them, you need to give 100% nutrition effort, 100% working out effort. When you do that, you will get 100% results. So don't slack on one and give more to the other. Put as much effort into both of them as you can, and you will see the results that you're looking for when it comes to sticking to your program and getting what you're wanting out of it. So for meal prep, like I said, it's one of those things that it can make or break you. But what this video is going to do is just give you a few tips on how you guys can best prepare when it comes to sticking to your nutrition plan, and a couple things that will best help prepare you when you're thinking about meal prep, because a lot of us have never done anything regarding meal prep before. Sometimes for the average person, we usually just go on throughout our day eating what we can, right? So sometimes we don't even eat breakfast. We're like, oh, I'm not hungry, so I'm just gonna go, I'll get something to eat at work. Or we we might pack a lunch, but then that's really the only thing we eat until we get home for dinner. Well, not with meal prep. With your program, and with any program that you're doing, you want to be striving to eat roughly 5 to 6 times a day. I'll say 4 to 6, but if you can have at least 5 small meals a day, 5 or 6, that would be ideal. And why I say that is because the more you fuel your body with the right foods, the more you are revving up that metabolism, the more your body is constantly burning the fuel that you're putting in it, and the more that it's going to want to burn everything else that's stuck inside there and not going anywhere. So with that, meal prep is very important. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in and start talking about the portion control cups, kind of how we use them, and then from there I'll go into a couple meal prep tips that will hopefully help you in getting yourself set up for success. So like I said, most of us go our whole lives without really thinking about what we're going to be eating throughout the day, right? So that's what these portion control cups are here for. What we need to make sure that we do when we're using these portion control cups is plan. So not only is meal prep important, it's obviously important to cook the food, but it's also important that you plan exactly what you're going to be eating throughout the week. So I'm not saying that you need to have every meal planned to the T, but, excuse me, someone actually just sent me a message. Okay, there we go. So I'm not saying that you have to have every meal planned to the T, but as long as you have, you know, I would say your top 2 to 3 meals per day planned out for the week, that will give you a baseline of where to start. So let's say, for example, right now it's Friday night, my week's coming to an end, and on Monday I know I'm going to need food to prepare or to last me for the rest of the week. So what you're going to be doing is saying, okay, I know that on Saturday or Sunday I need to go grocery shopping because I don't have enough food to last me until next week, right? So with that comes planning. You want to look at the sheet that came along with your program. You want to see what foods you're going to be allowed to eat. You want to see what foods from that list that you're going to want to buy. But even more importantly, you're going to want to pick out different types of recipes or different types of meals that you're going to want to be cooking. Because let's be honest, we could all eat chicken and asparagus and some, you know, red potatoes for dinner every night, but that gets a little boring. So if you want to mix it up, make sure that you're, you know, picking out recipes that you want to eat. Make sure that you're planning them out throughout the day, not just your dinners, which dinner is important, but make sure that you're planning, you know, your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner, and then figuring out what you want for those 2 small snacks in between. Or if you're someone who's doing 6 meals a day, plan it out that way and figure out what you want to eat for every meal. Your Shakeology does count as 1 meal, remember? So, and that counts as a red cup, which like I said, I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes. But make sure that you're planning these things in. That way you can best prepare for the day and for the week. Because in the morning, guys, you don't want to be scrambling around trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to eat today? How many cups of this do I need? Because we don't like feeling rushed. Like if we can have everything all set up on Sunday night, I know this is an ideal world, but it's possible. It's totally possible to do, and we can all do it if we just put in a little effort. So if we can have everything set up, you know, whether it's having, you know, on Sunday night, having 3 days of our meals prepared or having 2 days prepared, that way on, you know, we can start again on Wednesday and, you know, prepare that night for the next couple days. Whatever's going to be easiest for you, figure that out, but make sure that you're planning it into your schedule because that's so, so important. Like I said, meal planning is something that most of us have never really done in our lives. So making time on Sunday nights or Sunday during the day to prepare all the food that you've, you know, bought on Saturday when you went to the grocery store. Saturday when you go to the grocery store, you don't want to say, oh God, now what do I need to buy? I know there's a ton of foods on this list that I can choose from, but what do I really need to buy? Save yourself some money. You don't have to buy everything that's on the list. So before you go to the grocery store, plan out what you want to cook. Plan out what you're going to want to make for the, you know, for the coming week ahead. So I'm going to show you something really quick, which might help you out. This is the Fix8 cookbook. This was made by Autumn Calabrese, and if you look in it, it basically has a ton of recipes, and each of them has the portion container amount. So you've got everything in here from desserts. This is banana apple muffins. You've got peanut butter squares. You've got Mexican taco meat. You've got chocolate protein crepes. There's so many different recipes in here that you can choose from. So this is a perfect way to start out and say, okay, I know for breakfast I'm going to want to make this. I know for lunch I'm going to want to make that. And you can just prepare so easily just by using something like this. I think this was $14 or $15. Talk to your coach if you want to purchase this. She can give you the link that you need to purchase it. But it's super helpful. If you don't have this book or you don't want to purchase it, you can always go on Google and type in 21 Day Fix Recipes, or you can go on to Pinterest and type in 21 Day Fix Recipes, and a ton of good stuff will come up for you to help prepare yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the cups right now. Like I said, I know most of you are going to be using the portion control cups, so just briefly going over them. The green is going to be for your vegetables, the purple is going to be for your fruits, the red is for your proteins, the blue is for your healthy fats, the yellow is for your carbohydrates, and then the orange is for your seeds and dressings. So with these, obviously you fill them up until nothing else fits in them anymore, and then put it on your plate, and that is considered 1 portion. Now, just something to note, you don't have to fill up 1 cup at a certain meal. So let's say, for example, for breakfast, I want some oatmeal with blueberries. Well, I'll use my yellow to measure out my oatmeal. I'll use my purple to measure out, my blueberries that I want to sprinkle on top. But if I don't want a full giant cup of blueberries, guys, I don't have to. I can fill it halfway and just take, make note on whatever tracking device or piece of paper that I'm using and say, okay, I know I only used half of a purple cup, so that's, you know that you have the other half to use for later. So just take note of that and remember that you don't have to use all the cups at one meal. Like, you can space them out throughout the day. One thing that you can also do, and I'm going to get this because I was just using this a couple weeks ago. So this is the meal plan from 22 Minute Hardcore. I have this printed out on my refrigerator, but you can see here, I think when I did it, I fell in plan 2. So it basically laid out exactly how many cups I could use for each meal. So it did breakfast, Shakeology, snack, lunch, and dinner. So it just basically gave me an easy way to break it down. That way, if I said, I'm going to eat, I don't want to do the guesswork and I don't want to figure out how many cups I can eat at this meal or that meal, I just follow this and it told me exactly how many I could eat at each meal, and I just basically filled up the cups with what I wanted and made my makeshift, meal plan that way, just by following what they gave me. But you don't have to do that. As long as you have a way to track what you're eating, that is going to be your best bet. So we have trackers. There are actually trackers that came with your program. So if you look through the booklet, you'll see in there that you have the ability to use the little tracking sheet and check off whenever you've eaten a certain cup that day, and it'll basically tell you how many you have left. I know there's also a 21-day fix app that tells you, like, you can go through and check off how many cups you've eaten that day. That way you know how many you have left for the day also. So there's a ton of different ways to track. You can make your own little spreadsheet. You can do it however you want to. I have to figure out where we're going to post. I think we can post them in the files section of this group. But we have some trackers that you guys can use that hopefully will help you out in figuring out the best way for you to keep track of your cups and to figure out, your plan for the week. So how I usually do it, planning my food for the week, super simple. All you need to do, and I don't have anything written out right now, but all you have to do is basically make a list on Monday through Friday, or you can even do Saturday and Sunday if you want, but make a list Monday through Friday and make little boxes for each day of the week. So you got Monday through Friday, you've got breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, evening snack, or however you want to break it down. And then you're obviously going to make like little grid squares, and then just write down exactly what you're going to be eating for every meal. You can even put how many cups it's going to require for every meal. So figure out the best way that you can track and just stick to it, because making a plan is going to set you guys up for success in so many different ways. And food, for me, is the hardest part. I can work out as much as I want to every single day, no problem. I'll find time to work out. But when it comes to eating the healthy stuff and avoiding the temptations, that's what's hard for me. And when it comes down to actually planning what I want to eat, that's hard for me too. So when I find, when you find the best way that works for you, whether it's writing it down on a piece of paper or using one of the tracking sheets that we have, just make sure it's something that you can stick to and something that you can follow. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is food. So you all know that your program came with a list, a giant foods list of things that you can eat. And really, guys, you're not being deprived of a whole lot. Like, obviously, we're not going to be eating potato chips. We're not going to be eating, Doritos, Cheetos, like nothing like that. So the important thing to remember is we want to stick to as many whole foods as possible, because that's what our bodies crave. Our bodies want this whole nutritious food that we normally don't feed it on a regular basis. Normally, we're filling our bodies with processed stuff, and it's hard for our bodies to actually take that, digest it, and take all the nutrients that usually those type of foods don't have any nutrients whatsoever. But those, like, everything that we put in our body is getting distributed throughout our body, and that's what we're using as our fuel. So keep that in mind when you're planning your meals. Like, do you want your body to be fueled with energy and, all these awesome nutrients and vitamins and minerals? Or on the other hand, if we're filling it with processed stuff, it's probably not going to make us feel as good. So just keep that in mind. But where was I going with this? Totally lost my train of thought. But what I want to share with you guys is, like I said, we have this huge list of foods that we can eat. Figure out what you're going to want to eat from the list. Go to the store, buy what you're going to want to eat, you know, for that you need to eat to make those recipes. Make the recipes, and God, I lost my train of thought again. I knew I was going somewhere with this, and I got a text message and I like could kind of read it, so that's where my brain was thinking. But for meal prep, like I said, you want to figure out what exactly you're eating, but when it comes down to cooking it, we can always have those basic foods prepared for the entire week. So what I mean by that is, you know that you can always use chicken, right? You can use baked chicken or grilled chicken for anything and everything that you want. You can put it in chicken tacos, you know, you can use it to make, you can use chicken to make anything, in wraps, or you can use it to make a chicken salad. There's so many different things that you can use chicken for. The same thing with ground turkey. So those two meats are usually, I call them my staple meats, because you can use them for anything. So I recommend definitely having chicken on hand and having ground turkey on hand, because you can add them to anything. The same thing goes with your good carbohydrates. So if you have sweet potatoes on hand, already cooked up, quinoa, what else? You can have red potatoes. You can have something as easy as oatmeal. These Quaker oats, I've just got them sitting on top of my fridge, but these guys, they're so easy to cook. You just literally add water and put them in the microwave and you're good. So just making sure that you have those types of things on hand that you can kind of mix with anything and everything, you'll be good. And the same thing goes with vegetables. I don't like cooking my vegetables for the entire week, just because they kind of get soggy and I don't necessarily like the way they taste, and then my husband's more picky than I am about it. So we usually only cook vegetables for about a 2 to 3 day time span at most. But having things like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, basically anything like that you can add to specific foods in the morning or your lunch. And one thing I do like having all the time is chopped up cucumbers, chopped up bell peppers, because you can add that to, omelets in the morning. You can add those to, any type of taco that you're making. You can basically add that stuff to anything. What else? Zucchini. There's all these different fruits that you can, fruits and veggies that you can have already pre-cut and ready to go when you're creating your food for the week. And that brings me into my next topic, is pre-cutting your food. As soon as you get home, don't even put everything that you just bought in the refrigerator. Leave it out, get out your cutting board, wash it all off, and start chopping. Because one of the reasons why so many of us fail to eat healthy is because we have all this food in the fridge, but it's just sitting there, and it sits there not chopped up. It sits there in the bag that we got it in. And it does that because we don't feel like cutting it up, and we're hungry right then and there, and we don't feel like chopping up things to eat them. We just want to eat something that's quick, grab it out of the fridge and go. So as soon as you get home, chop up all your vegetables, chop up your cucumbers, your peppers, chop up your even fruits. You can chop up strawberries, apples, whatever. Maybe not apples, but whatever you get, just make it as simple as possible for you to have throughout the week. That way, all you have to do is go in your fridge, get it out, sprinkle some in your food, put it in a baggie, whatever. You don't have to worry about getting your cutting board out and chopping it all up again. So those are my tips for you guys. I know this video is pretty long, but when it comes to talking about food and meal prep, I could honestly talk for days. But I'm just trying to give you guys the basics to help you out the best possible way I can. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I know this was kind of a basic overview, just some tips that I find helpful for myself. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to ask me or your coach, or comment below, or do whatever. But make sure that you guys are really, really, really planning and preparing and figuring out the best way for you to be successful when it comes to your meal prep. Because like I said, it goes hand in hand, working out and exercising. If you could exercise 50 times a day if you wanted, and eat like crap, and you still won't see results, even though you're exercising so much. It's all about the nutrition, guys. We have to feed our bodies properly, and by doing that, we will see the results that we're looking for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of long, but if you need anything from me or your coach, feel free to ask us. Feel free to let us know. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.